So I was born in India, in Mumbai, and then we moved over to London when I was 7 years old. And then we moved from London to Nottingham when I was 11, and I grew up in Nottingham. My first experiences that I remember so well was we were in the car because someone had said that it was snowing, like down the road. One of my dad's friends had called him and said that, oh, it's snowing here, you guys have just moved from India, you should come. And we drove there to try and see the snow. And by the time we'd got there, it had all melted away, but then it was snowing where we lived in our home. So then we drove back, and then I remember the snow and just being amazed that that happened in countries, because I'd never seen it before. My mum didn't work when we lived in India, and none of her friends worked really, they were all housewives. And I remember coming to the UK and seeing lots of women working, like Indian women working, and I remember thinking, oh, that's different, like my mum doesn't do that, or didn't do that. I moved to Hucknall in Nottingham, which is like this old miners' town, and I was the first person of colour to go to my primary school of like, I think it only had like 200 kids as well. And I remember the head teacher coming to greet me at the door, and all the kids just didn't really know if I would even speak English when I started school, but I did because I went to an English school in India. And I was struggling in a sense of like, some language I just didn't get. A lot of the English that was spoken in this really rural Midlands town, I didn't understand. Like, you know, they'd say like, oh, can you pass me a bobble? And I was like, I don't know what that is. And it just turns out it's a hairband. Or like, oh, we're having jacket potato. I don't know what that is. Or like, I got school meals and I would have the school dinners and I'd be like, I don't really understand what I'm eating because this isn't like food that I have at home. And that's kind of what I struggled with, was just all this new stuff that I didn't encounter. And all the kids were really nice to me. They weren't like mean or bully me or anything, but I think they just didn't know how to act around me as well, because they didn't really know anyone that was Indian or would, you know, dress maybe a little bit differently, or if I went in with like a tika on my forehead or something, they didn't really know what to say or how that worked. And I remember coming home and saying like, I don't really fit in, I don't really know anyone here, I don't like look like anyone else here. And my mum being just so supportive and being like, that's great though, that's incredible, like you don't want to look like everyone, you know. So like, I don't remember her struggling or anything. I remember like me struggling to fit in after a bit and her really comforting me and helping me understand what was going on. Once we moved to Hucknall, it was just the four of us. It was just me, my mum, my dad and my brother. And like, that was it. Whereas I came from a family where we lived with my grandma and my granddad and my 3 cousins and my auntie, and like all my friends were down the road. Like, I think not having that support system anymore. And I remember that being really difficult. And even now, I think sometimes when you go through hardship, it's difficult. You miss that community and your family for sure. That's been difficult.